All right, getting a late start today, so I'm trying to get this video in. Anyway, welcome to the fastest 15 minutes in politics and religion. My name is Judson Powell. Please subscribe to my channel, and also please hit the like button and share it. If you like it, then share it. Okay. So what I want to talk about today, I want to go back to the Kamala Harris thing. Because I've been receiving a lot of feedback on social media, so just want to talk about that a little bit more. And one of the posts that I saw, it was talking about like why are black women hating on Kamala? And the funny thing about it is that it's well, first of all, there was another post that was floating around, and it was talking about these ladies that she had locked up through her truancy program. And then, the other day we had conversations talking about the truancy program because there was a thing where basically she was locking up mothers whose children had not gone to school, and under the guise of the fact that she wanted to make sure that these particular women were parenting correctly. And of course, most of them were single black females, single parents, and so like they don't have enough. They don't have enough to be worried about. Now they got to be worried about what? They got to be worried about going to jail. And so that's one of the things. And I mean, personally, I don't like it. I mean, so I know other people have different opinions and whatever, and that's fine. You can have, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But there's already enough stuff, and then to make more laws against the people that are being oppressed the most in our society, it just doesn't sit well with me. And especially when there are other issues out there, like why don't you figure out how to put some of these crooked police officers in jail that are shooting and beating up black folks all over? I mean, every day we got another one. If you just sit there and watch, every day somebody else is getting bullied by the police, somebody, so I just don't get it. So if you're trying to lock somebody up, try to lock somebody up that really deserves to go to jail. Not, because to me that's just like child support. The only people that go to jail for child support are poor people. So face it, it's systemic racism. Rich people, that's not going to happen to. Rich people don't go to jail for child support. Why? Because they got money. They can afford to pay. The only people that go to jail for child support are poor people because they can't afford to pay. And who are most of the poor people? They are Latinos and black people. So let's not get the game twisted. These are systemic racism based programs. The same thing with, now all of a sudden they're coming out and they're finding out that all these Caucasians are getting welfare and are actually committing welfare fraud, and they're not. Funny thing is, they're not really going to jail. And it's the same thing. There's two different sets of rules. One set of rules for black people, one set of rules for white people, and and everybody else. There's another set of rules. I guess you could say three sets of rules, or set of rules for people who are just poor, whether you're black, white, red, green, yellow, or brown. It don't matter what color you are if you don't have no money in this country. And I remember one friend of mine, another lawyer, a lawyer friend of mine, he was like, we were sitting around talking, and he just said, here in America, you get the best justice that money can buy. So if you have money, you're going to get treated differently than if you don't have money. If you don't have money, you're 9 times out of 10, you're going to go to jail and you're going to feed the beast. And that's what we call it, feeding the beast. All you're going to do is just keep on putting people in jail so that the rich people can stay rich and poor people can stay poor. And that's basically how the system in the United States of America works. So Kamala, she was putting together all this stuff, and I mean, I don't know where she got the fact that this was actually supposed to be helpful to black people in some way, shape, or form, or that these, one of the girls, I remember in the article, one of the girls was, her daughter had sickle cell anemia, that she was in pain all the time, that she had go to a lot of hospital stays and things like that, and that's why she missed school. She didn't miss school because her mother was a bad parent. Her mother was actually a good parent because she was trying to get her daughter relief from the pain that she was going through sickle cell. So and then there's no concession made or no, that in fact that's to me that's what justice is. Justice is saying, look, looking at the totality of the circumstances, is there a necessity, or has this person been so heinously egregious in what they've done? Should they go to jail? And in most cases, unequivocally, the answer to that is no. Most people in jail don't deserve to be in jail. Most people in America, we're the most incarcerated nation on the face of the earth, and then you go out to do other things to try to put more people in jail, And to me, that's just not cool, I'm of the school of, look, if you're really trying to fix the system, then try to fix the system. If not, then keep your mouth shut and just keep on doing what you're doing. And I think that's the problem that most people have. The other thing is, she's got some serious ties. Okay, and like we said, her husband is Jewish, and she's very tied into Israel, the whole Israel-Palestine thing. And I, for one, and there's a lot of people, black, white, red, yellow, green, who don't agree with what's going on in Israel right now. I mean, there are concentration camps of Palestinian children, and Palestinian children, I've seen pictures of Palestinian children that have been burned alive and all of this kind of stuff. That's not, we don't need that in the world, period. And if you can't go to the table and sit down and negotiate peace, you definitely don't need to be going around doing things that are quote unquote almost like, and they're always talking about the Holocaust. Well, you're doing things just like it was done in Nazi Germany, but you're doing this to other people. You didn't like when it was being done to you, so why would you do that to some other race of people? That's just insane, and it's crazy. So, we see her taking pictures with, Israeli authorities and all of that kind of stuff, and so yeah, that gets at people. So you can't just say, oh, you're hating on her because she's black. Ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with her politics, with the things that she's done. And then the other thing is, and regardless of what you say, yeah, she went to Howard University, but she is a culture vulture because she uses the black culture, which she is not really a part of, because even when she was on radio, etc., she's like talking about how she was down with Tupac and Biggie and all of this kind of stuff, trying to get herself street credibility. And we know good and well that she wasn't down with Tupac and Biggie. We know that. So stop being fake and phony. And I think a lot of people, they just catch up and they see that. And the other thing is, and she is not the only black candidate that's running for president. Remember, Cory Booker is up there too. So you got other people. Now, I'm gonna talk some real serious things with that. Look, just like I talk sometimes to my wife, and one thing that we talk about sometimes is the fact that we don't think that Cory Booker is electable either. Why not? Because he's not married, he doesn't have a wife and kids. People find stuff like that suspect. And I'm not talking about necessarily me. I think he's a great guy. But on the other hand, when people go in the voting booth, remember, and I wrote this in a post, a lot of people, they talk a good game in public, but when you go behind that closed curtain in the voting booth, then you can you have the right to speak whatever you want. Everybody ain't down. For example, even with Kamala, everybody's not down with interracial marriage. Everybody is not down with that. I don't care what you say, especially people in the South. I lived in South Carolina, and I see the side eyes and everything when you see an interracial couple walking down the street or whatever. Me personally, I don't care. But by the same token, there's a whole bunch of people that really do. And I'm not just talking about white people. I'm talking about black people. There are a bunch of black people that just don't go down for that whole interracial marriage thing. So she's got to overcome that. She got a lot of stuff to overcome. The whole Israel, connection, and knowing that her husband is Jewish. She got to overcome that. The fact that she's a woman and she's black, she's got to overcome that. And she has not made really any policy that really has done any good for black people. And with that in mind, say this too. Neither did Barack Obama. But he just had a certain kind of charm and savoir-faire that everybody was like, okay, yeah, we dig him. But she doesn't have that same kind of charm, and except for her winning that debate, and that's only because, it was like, and then she won it basically on a topic that's a non-issue. Busing is a non-issue. Busing was made possible through the civil rights movement, through black people. Black people made busing occur, and busing was the best idea that people had at the time in order to try to integrate the schools and try to integrate the society, which was a big social failure. It didn't work because people are more segregated now than ever. I mean, people can go places and do things that they couldn't have done back then, but for the most part, races don't really hang out with one another. It's not like, just like you go to a black barbershop, you don't see many white boys in there on Saturday getting their hair cut, or you go to you go to certain clubs or certain places like that, you're not going to see these people commingling together. And I mean, let's be honest about it. That's the honest to God truth. And we got too many other problems. And then the other thing is, you're already a senator, so why don't you do the things that are necessary? Just like I was talking about on the video yesterday. Try to do something about the Electoral College, because that's the biggest threat to the Democratic Party. I mean, bar none. You already lost 2 elections because of it. So how much longer are you going to let it go on? The other thing is, how much longer are you going to still be soft on Trump? Why didn't Kamala? Why hasn't she introduced the impeachment legislation? I'm telling you, that would make you super popular among everybody, because that's what everybody really wants. Even Republicans want it, and I'm sure that there'll be some Republicans, if you put them up for impeachment, there are going to be some Republicans that will cross the aisle. But to me, nobody up there, black, white, or anything else in the Democratic Party is doing anything. Nobody's doing a job. So it's got to be lured down to, look, we got Biden, and so my personal thing is, go with Biden. Why? Because he's a known commodity. We know he's going to toe the line that Obama set. We know there's not going to be any funny stuff with the economy or anything like that, and we know that he is behind the Affordable Care Act vis-a-vis Obamacare. All right, so you got to understand that that's what's going to happen, and if we don't do that, we're putting people up there that are too risky. Too risky, and we know the Trump chump constituency. We know what they are. We know that they're out there. We know that they will vote in droves. We know that they will. They'll go out there and they'll vote, even though they lost by 4 million votes. But look, as long as the Electoral College is there, there's always a chance that even if we outvote them, that they could still snatch the election away. Ask Al Gore and ask Hillary Clinton. Happened twice already. So don't take anything for granted, and don't take that just because she won that one debate that all of a sudden it's over and we got the person we're going to put up there against Trump. That's simply could be further from the truth, and we need to be cautious and think about it. And you also have to realize, people aren't ready for as much as you think they're ready for. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the agendas are being pushed upon people. They're being is propaganda. Is being propagandized towards you so that you think and you act a certain way, and you become desensitized to certain things, and all this stuff about being politically correct and all of that stuff. That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with who's the best person to run the country, because clearly President Trump was not the best person that we could have chosen to run the country. Matter of fact, he's an embarrassment. Anyway, that's the fastest 15 minutes in politics and religion. I'm Justin Powell. Hit like, hit subscribe. I love you. I love you all.